श्री शिव पंचाक्षर स्तोत्रम. नागेन्द्रहाराय त्रिलोचनाय भस्मांगरागाय महेश्वराय नित्याय शुद्धाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नकाराय नमः शिवाय. ओम 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 नमः शिवाय. मंदाकिनी सलिल चंदन चर्चिताय.
मंदाकिनी सलिल चंदन चर्चिताय.
नंदीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय.
नंदीश्वर प्रमथनाथ महेश्वराय.
मंदार पुष्प बहुपुष्प सुपूजिताय.
मंदार पुष्प बहुपुष्प सुपूजिताय.
तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय.
तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय.
ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः
शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय.
शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्ज वृंद.
शिवाय गौरी वदनाब्ज वृंद.
सूर्याय दक्षाध्वरनाशकाय.
सूर्याय दक्षाध्वरनाशकाय.
श्रीनीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय.
नीलकण्ठाय वृषध्वजाय.
तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय.
तस्मै शिकाराय नमः शिवाय.
ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय.
ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय.
वसिष्ठ कुंभोद्भव गौतमार्य.
वसिष्ठ कुम्भोद्भव गौतमार्य.
मुनीन्द्र देवार्चित शेखराय.
मुनीन्द्रदेवार्चितशेखराय.
चंद्रार्क वैश्वानर लोचनाय.
वैश्वानरलोचनाय.
तस्मै वकाराय नमः शिवाय.
तस्मै मकाराय नमः शिवाय.
ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय.
ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय.
यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय.
यक्षस्वरूपाय जटाधराय.
पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय.
पिनाकहस्ताय सनातनाय.
दिव्याय देवाय दिगंबराय.
दिव्याय देवाय दिगंबराय.
तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय.
तस्मै यकाराय नमः शिवाय.
ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः शिवाय. ओम नमः Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Har Har Namah Parvati Pataye.
Har Har Mahadev.
Shri Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki.
Jai.
Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurudeva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. These 5 letters in Na-Mah-Shi-Va-Ya not only glorifies and indicates to us who is Lord Shiva, but also removes the 5 fears and the sorrows that come along with those fears. So we have seen that Nakara removes the fear of Naraka, Makara of Marana, Shi of Shaishav, that is birth, and now Va, Vardhakya, that is decay, fading, old age. Now when you say old age, it appears like, but old age comes with its decay. Yeah? Loneliness, fading of our senses, abilities. All this comes with old age. In creation also, when dissolution takes place, things just start, just as we are seeing also, things just start beginning to perish. Most of you, while you are here, will get your first white hair. And it comes generally whispering into your ears. Youth is gone, now become wise. Yeah? First statement is become wise. Because when these changes take place, when age fades away, when we start growing old also, old people become sometimes worse than children. You might think that it's not too long of. But as you grow older, fixated in thought, forgetful, repetitive, stubborn, unable, the senses are unable to see properly, hear properly. People around you, one by one, die away, friends die away, relatives die away. And you start becoming lonely. Even family does not want to spend time with you. Yeah? And same way, when dissolution takes place, light takes place also in the universe, things start, fertility in the soil goes away, air gets polluted, there's not enough water. All these are all signs of decay. So when you say old age, fear of old age, again, with old age, very peculiar attachments. In Bhaj Govindam, you will hear, Balastavat Krida Sakta. In childhood, we are attached to play. Tarunastavat Taruni Sakta. In youth, the young men run after young women run after young men, or basically one runs after sense pleasures. So at young age, you are attached to young people, even friends. And at old age, where everyone has left you, everything is leaving you, even your body is perishing and becoming incapable, there is a unique attachment there. And that attachment is to chinta. Vriddhastavat chinta sakta. One is attached to chinta. They worry about everything. They worry what happened in the past. They worry what is happening in the future. They worry what will happen to the world. They worry about COVID and still don't wear a mask. Or keep removing their mask. Yeah. They worried when the vaccine will come. Now the vaccine has come, they are worried to take the vaccine. They are the first to go to it. What I'm trying to say is that in that is all these worries, anxieties that come about. That sense of helplessness, loneliness. All these emotions come under what you say as old age. And yet old age need not be so pathetic. Because old age, if we have trained our minds and at the same time we have gained knowledge, and knowledge when contemplated upon and what is to be practiced, lived is lived, then only it turns into wisdom. That you know when and how to apply it at the right time. Therefore, old age has many beautiful things. If we invoke Lord Shiva, and get the blessings. And what is the best thing in old age is to have wisdom, for which you are also respected. No? That people would want to come to you. Otherwise, who wants to go to anyone who's just complaining, I've got a backache and, what do you say? Huh? Or say something totally because they can't hear. So they interpret something and tell you. Then nobody wants to spend time with them. If they are only complaining about their children, they're complaining about all the time complaining about their physical body and how the whole world, the next generation is gone to the dogs. No? Finally, nobody wants to listen to all these things. But elderly people are treasured when they have lived a noble life and have got wisdom. That wisdom by which they know when to speak, when not to speak, when to instruct, not to instruct, who to instruct, who not to instruct also, how to instruct, which type of people. All this comes from wisdom. This verse, which in its simple meaning means that Lord Shiva is the greatest of the greatest and worshipped by such great rishis and munis. Men and women who have mastered their mind and are people of reflection and therefore of wisdom. These are the people. See, common man to make anybody as God. I should not tell you, but there are some of you might just think that, and people like being worshipped as God. So, anybody they'll make as God, they'll believe as God, fight, kill and plunder for God. But whom the wise people adore, worship, and what they indicate as God is what we should imitate, we should follow, and we should learn from those people. Therefore, wisdom is very often associated with old age, though many of our saints and sages even gave up this body when they were young, like Bhagavan Shankaracharya, just as Swami Vivekananda also. These were all very young saints. But wisdom is always associated with old. Therefore, you see all our rishis, they started off very young. They were great even when they were young, but you always pictured them as these white dadi wala babas, no? Yeah. Because wisdom. Therefore, this verse very beautifully speaks about those wise ones who adore Lord Shiva and how they adore Lord Shiva. How do they recognize Lord Shiva? And how this fear of decay, and here decay can also mean fear of failure. The type of fear that Arjuna had. What will happen as a result of this war? What will be the consequences after this war? The death, the bloodshed, the loss of lives, the loss of relatives, and loss of people like Bhishma and Drona. And therefore, it also means loss. Also happens when anything is prolonged for a long time, just like life also. You will find also in relationships, You will find even during your studies here, after some time, a boredom kind of sets in, Your enthusiasm decays. Yeah? Even in Vairagya, when you come here with Vairagya like I'm ready to give up everything. Afterwards, suddenly, shouldn't they be putting little more spices in the food? Yeah. So much for Vairagya. What only 2 sets of clothes they are giving us? Every day we have to wash clothes. And they don't allow us to wash clothes every day. Why can't they give us 4 sets of clothes? All these things start coming in. See how our enthusiasm also starts decaying, which is also a sign of old age. So don't understand old age only as only when you become old and you're not, infirm, incapable. That is not. A relationship gets old. Our enthusiasm gets old. All this is to understand. Now, if you look at all the fears that you have written, see how they come under these categories. Some might you think, no, my fear is very unique. Swamiji didn't mention about that fear. You see how it fits into one of these categories. So this verse, Vashishta Kumbodbhava Gautamarya Munindra Devarchita Shekaraya Chandrarka Vaishwanaralochanaya Tasmai Vakaraya Na-Mah-Shi-Va-Ya Om Na-Mah-Shi-Va-Ya Om Namah-Shivaya. Om Namah-Shivaya. Vashishta, Kumbodbhava, Gautamarya. These are all great rishis, also considered at different eras as the Sapta Rishis. These are all great rishis from the Vedic lore who have had a great impact on our knowledge systems or traditions, not only of our various Vedic knowledge, spiritual knowledge, but also of the various sciences, such as Ayurveda and such sciences. Many of them were rishis, means mantra drashta, to whom this knowledge was revealed. But besides being people to whom this knowledge was revealed, they were men and women of reflection who then could pass on this knowledge, expound it to their disciples. Therefore, many have been the rishis. In fact, their wives also were, some of them were rishis and teachers in the Vedas. So, you have these rishis like Vashishta. Sage Vashishta is very well known. Many families also, you come from, Vashishta family, Gotra. And Sage Vashishta is known as the guru of Sri Ramchandra, Dashrath Maharaj, Ramchandraji of Surya Vamsha. He is considered to be the guru. Many Vedic hymns are attributed to Sage Vashishji. And it is to Vashishji that the Mahamrityunjay mantra Trayambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushti vardhanam urvarukam iva bandhanat mrityor mukshiyam amritat was revealed. So therefore, sage Vashishta is the one who is the seer, the rishi of the Mahamrityunjay mantra. So it is to him this mantra was revealed. That's why you can see that sage Vashishta is a devotee of Lord Shiva, and that's how you find also that Ramchandraji also worships Lord Shiva. Also, in Yoga Vashishta also there is a story, and there in those stories a lot of knowledge is revealed, where Vashishji says that he was sitting in meditation and the atmosphere was so beautiful, and somehow or the other he was awakened in his meditation, and there he saw this brilliant source of light, and Lord Shiva revealed himself to him. And there sage Vashishta asks him that what is the best manner to worship Devata, to worship the gods. And Lord Shiva there reveals to him that we worship God in different forms and we get attached to those forms and very often attached to the limited concept of that form. And then there is hatred from one form to another form. The theme is similar, not these exact words, but the theme is similar. Sri Krishna also, same knowledge is there in the Gita. But he says, I shall reveal to you that Lord of Lords, Shekhar, that crown of all gods or lords, in whom this entire creation appears, and who accommodates this entire universe within himself. That is the Lord to be worshipped. Otherwise, we worship, even in the various forms of the Devatas, a limited concept in our mind. And therefore, the rishis in the Vedas, as you've studied as you've chanted Purusha Suktam, but you will study in Purusha Suktam, Mundaka Upanishad, 11th chapter of the Gita, that form of the Lord and nature of the Lord that is revealed in the Upanishads. And that is what was revealed to sage Vashishta. And where we have to understand that the absolute supreme Lord is infinite and cannot be confined in any form, in whom this entire universe is appearing. The complete dimensions, the complete Brahmandas, the entire, not cosmos, cosmoses appear. That is Ishvara. So, it was to Vashishta this was revealed to, of course. Then, Kumbhodbhava, one who was born from a pot. Agastya Muni is said to have been born from a pot. Now, there are many fantastic stories and even different stories, some in the Vedas, some in the Puranas, some in the epics, Mahabharata, etc., of these great rishis. But Agastya Muni is known to be the rishi who brought this knowledge to the south. Some claim that also Lord Shiva, of course, is the Adi Guru of all sciences, languages, etc. But Agastya Muni also is attributed the Tamil language and all the sciences, especially of Siddha, not only Siddha Yoga, but also Siddha medicine, etc. That Agastya Muni was the rishi. It is said that he was, when the Asuras were hiding in the ocean, and he's known to be short. He's supposed to be short. And sometimes when I will tell you some stories, later on sometime, I will tell you, this relationship between Lord Shiva and Agastya Muni that we saw with our own eyes. Right? Till then, you be curious. That Shivji himself used to come to listen to the Ramayana from Agastya Muni. This Agastya Muni, for whom Shivji was his teacher, and the teacher would come to listen to him. That Agastya Muni. And Gautama Rishi. They are also different. Even sometimes the father, son, these are a little bit there. But Gautama Rishi is known to be the husband of who? The Ramayana of Ahilya. He was the husband of Ahilya, the famous story from the Ramayana. And Gautama Rishi also, many Vedic hymns are attributed to him and also known in the epics and the Puranas. These were great people of wisdom who were teachers, revealers of the mantras of the Vedas. These are the great rishis. And therefore, these Munindra, the king or the greatest of all Munis, and along with all the Devatas. More you will understand about these Devatas, very often translated in English as gods. And then they confuse that the Hindus have got many gods and Hindu are polytheistic. In fact, there is no religion whose basis is Vedanta, which not only speaks about one God, but God alone is. There is nothing other than God. That is Advaita. One God, then my God is greater than your God. Yeah. But Ekameva Advitiya Brahman is not talking about one God, but that which is one. See, that alone can be God, one without a second. So all the Devatas, the cosmic conscious principles behind all the laws of nature, all these deities, Archita, worship. So these are the great rishis who worship him. And that too also with the mantra Om Na-Mah-Shi-Va-Ya. And who is Shekaraya, the crown of all the Devatas, Mahadev. The highest of all Devatas, gods, whose eyes are Lochan, eyes are Chandra, Arka and Vaishwanara. Whose eyes, and I told you I'll tell about the three eyes of Lord Shiva, is the moon, the sun and the fire. Tasmai Vakaraya Na-Mah-Shi-Va-Ya. To that who is Va or Va in this mantra, to him, that Shiva, our salutations. Now the three eyes of Lord Shiva as Ishvara, a leader who is the highest leader, means the topmost position who has, must have the eye of justice, must know everything to have the eye of justice. Know all the laws, know everything, plus know all the actions of people and be able to give the judgment justly. But must also have compassion to understand why an action, even a crime would have done or a mistake must have happened. Compassion. And the third eye is of knowledge and wisdom. And since we are talking about the rishis, the third eye of wisdom. Like that we can go on and all, What is the eye of justice? Which means you must know all the knowledge of dharma, adharma. At the same time, you must have not a, judge who is without any empathy or sympathy. So intellect judges, but it is the emotions, the heart, which gives the clarity and the softness as well as the consideration for the person who has been judged. And the third eye is the eye of wisdom, knowledge. Knowledge of the truth that sees the oneself in everyone. And therefore, such a person's judgment, full of compassion, can be only for the well-being of everyone. Because you see yourself only in the other. So there are many things you can say about the three eyes. But in the Vedas, it is pointed out that the three eyes of the Lord is here in the order of poetry. But the sun, the moon and fire. Here in the order of poetry, moon, fire, sun and fire. These are the three eyes. These are the three luminaries of the universe to point out that the Lord is the seer, the witness of the entire universe. Day, night, and even in the secret of the cave of your heart. Or if you're hiding somewhere in the cave, there also you'll need fire. He's the illuminator of your deepest, darkest thoughts also. Or the darkest hidden thoughts of your waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. But herein, when the Vedas speak about the Virat Roop of Bhagwan, again, incidentally, Virat starts with Va. The Virat Roop of Bhagwan, in that the description is that Bhagwan's eyes, and even in the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter. Bhagwan's eyes and his Trilochan are the sun, the moon, and the fire. Of course, artists, when they make it, one eye will be big, and it is like that only. Your right eye will be bigger. Yeah? Your left eyes will be smaller. Because the same, there are many, many things that are there in Yoga Shastras, no? So, but what is in the cosmos, I said, is in the microcosmic also, macrocosm and microcosmic. But that understanding, when you do Upasana, you will get it. But at this moment, you have to understand that what is indicated is that Lord not just sitting on Kailash with 3 eyes depicted in that form, physical form, but the whole universe is his form. And in this universe, things come, things go. But the eternal substratum remains. The phenomena of birth and death takes place. And therefore, even in the Virat Roop, when Arjuna sees, he sees how the sun, many, many suns, moons, etc. But he sees also how everyone in the wheel of time, in the mouth of time, Kala, how everything gets eventually dissolved. Therefore, in the changes that take place, growth, decay, it's a phenomena in time. But that changeless Lord, whose this whole universe is his body. And when we worship the Lord in his cosmic form, birth, death, time, even a life becomes insignificant. And when that Lord is there to protect you, why fear of anything? Nothing is to be feared. And that Lord, who has these 3 eyes and can see everything that is happening, who has only the welfare of everyone, and in his wisdom knows what is best for us. And therefore, why fear? Even old age. And all the decays, the fading, the change, etc. And it is only when Arjuna saw the Virat Roop, all his fears came to an end. Confusions came to an end. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.